matter if you agree with me or not. On second thought, once you just sit your little carcass down at that table, I'll answer every little question you got.
Things are starting to cultivate. Things are starting to grow. Things are getting real colorful.
Look at. We're in the business of winning.
Don't bet against me.
I don't bet anyway.
Don't lose your life.
We're in the business of winning.
Are you kidding me?
We're in the business of winning.
Are you kidding me?
We're in the business of winning.
Yeah, absolutely total control right there. Watch this. Champion's prerogative, and I just exercised that option.
We're in the business of winning. We're in the business of winning.
Yeah, if he wants to keep an eye on me, don't look behind you. Oh, no, don't look in front. Don't look to the sides. Look straight up, because I'm right on top of you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're in the business of winning.
And any crying or any excuses is just sour grapes.
We're in the business of winning.
And I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
We're in the business of winning.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
We're in the business of winning. We're in the business of winning.
All right. Okay, you want to go first or what?
Dude, I gotta, like, as you said, Avatar 2. Did you see any previews for it?
I saw a few. Not many though.
Were they just super disappointing, like 1 minute preview where it just showed them swimming in water, like no words?
Yeah, so the only preview I kind of saw was like I said when we were talking about it, was like it looks like Avatar 1 but with water. I mean, that's really about all I knew. And I knew the Sky People were coming back. That's all I knew.
Those previews kind of bummed me out about it. I really didn't want to go see it because it just looked like, are they just really gonna just tell a story now where they move to the water? Wasn't expecting any sweet battles. I mean, I figured they'd have some kind of conflict, but I actually liked it better than the first one.
Dude, me too.
I didn't like the first one like too much. I felt like, okay, we get it. He's learning their ways, blah blah blah. We could kind of all see how the first one was going to pan out. Kind of because on this one too, but this one it's 3 hours and I wasn't like bored in it.
Yeah, so
like at any point.
Absolutely. Like I thought, so like the first one was kind of just like the first of its kind in a way, right? Like I think that's why it was so popular. But like the story was kind of played out with the first one, right? Like clashing of civilizations kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for sure. Like I thought the second one, the story was much better, a lot more to it. And then I also thought like in the beginning it was moving really fast, which I kind of liked. And then it did kind of hit some lulls, but the story overall was like way better. No doubt about that.
Dude, for sure. And then I was thinking last night, kind of similar to Star Wars, where if you take that kid Spider, he's basically Luke, goes, tries to save his dad, can't, doesn't want to kill him, saves him, kind of.
He was kind of, if I had any complaints, I didn't really like the human kid as part of it. I don't know why, but I just, maybe because they were already kind of doing the whole like hybrid thing with like the Na'vi and the humans who had like already made a kid or whatever with the doctor's Na'vi body. They kind of like were already having a human element into it, plus the Sky People. Like I didn't really like him. I don't know why. I didn't like him.
Yeah, and you could tell pretty early on. Like as soon as it shows and it's like this kid was left behind, you're like, that's spoiler alert. That's gonna be what was it, the colonel's kid, or was he a colonel?
Yeah, the colonel, the admiral, or whatever. Yeah.
You could like I was like, yeah, you can see where this is going. They never explained. They just called it Immaculate Conception. The daughter. So they never say who the dad is.
Yeah, with the scientist Navi body, with her body.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Sigourney
don't.
Weaver's character's kid. They never said who it was. So maybe that's coming up.
I don't think so. I don't think they did. Oh, and a note on that too. Apparently, this one needs to make like $1 billion for them to like, or maybe 2 billion. I can't remember exactly what I read, but this one's got to like crush it for them to keep going with the other ones.
And yeah, because we were looking up afterwards. We were looking up some of the actors, and it says that they're already signed on for the next one, but maybe it's contingent upon how well this one does. I was actually kind of wondering if, I guess spoiler alert on this too, if the Navi were going to take an L in this one and set up for a comeback. But I think if they're going to do 5 movies, they might take an L in 3 or 4. They got to lose at one point and come back. You can't win them all.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. It seems like the one of the few things I didn't like about this one was like, well, the kid. I mean, first of all, I liked the movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like I'm a pretty tough movie critic too. Like, I don't deal out 10s and 9s very often, kind of thing. Like much when I'm, when I'm like, if you're rating women or something, and someone's like, oh, she's a 10, it's like, nah, like you can't be giving out 10s like the candy. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like that. But like, I was pleasantly surprised. But like, yeah, I feel like with a lot of this stuff, like, I know you're kind of trying to build suspense and you're supposed to like create that in your mind, but it felt like things just kind of went too well at times in a way, which I know the movie's got to progress, right? But like the kids, like how they caught the kids, like after the dad was like, don't go here, don't go do this, don't go take your sisters and your brothers, and it's like, okay, we won't, and then they'd go and do it, and that humans happen to be there, Yeah. But yeah, the same thing with like the battles. Like it was just, I don't know, it just felt like there was no suspense almost in a way at times. Maybe that's me being a Debbie Downer though.
Yeah, the only suspense I could see was they kind of went in unprepared, and I was like, they're gonna take an L here. I thought for sure that might happen, and then they end up winning because I forgot about the big whale. I was like, that guy gonna come back and help.
Yeah, they also made the humans a little more relatable, but with like the whole Earth is dying thing, and it's kind of like you kind of like, okay, like these people kind of need to find another planet. Maybe that's the end of the whole Avatar series is like they end up how to live in harmony or something, or create some kind of human Navi hybrid in a way or something. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird.
I think they're gonna. So they introduced water. I was trying to think, is there gonna be some like? I think they're gonna find another Avatar group, Navi group, and it's gonna be like, we live in the air or some crap. I think they're just gonna bring them all together, and then you think they're gonna take down the humans, but maybe they find good humans in the end. I don't know. They got 5 movies. But I think they are going to link more more avatars out there.
Yeah, like they did a good job on the world building on this one. Like with the whole, I really like the water people aspect of it. They were like well done, I thought.
Yeah, I like that they even pointed out like how you're going to suck at swimming. Your tail isn't big and all this stuff, like little details. I was like, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And they're a little different. They got kind of fins on their arms and stuff.
Yeah,
like
for
they've
sure.
Completely evolved to live in the water. And we saw this one in 3D, and man, like James Cameron, like even Star Wars, for as big of a budget as the new ones had, like sometimes it looked a little cheesy, like Princess Leia flying through space or whatever she was doing.
Yeah.
You're like, man, what happened with the graphics budget here? But like all throughout this movie, you're just like, this is like top notch. Like the graphics, obviously, you knew were gonna be like if there's a 10 out of 10 here, it's the graphics on it were good. Like insane throughout. Like nothing looked cheesy, and that's for a movie with so much CGI and stuff. That's hard to do.
Yeah, going back to the daughter, the Immaculate Reception daughter,
Mm-hmm.
with her whole thing, like when she plugs into the system or whatever, you know, and she has like that seizure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be because you know how she apparently she can like, and she could show that she talked really well with like the life forms around her and stuff. Like she has like an sort of like another level of connection. I'm
Yeah.
kind of interested to see where that goes.
She's gonna be like the chosen one.
Yeah, she's kind
She
of
was able to control stuff and like.
yeah, she was kind of emo, you know. So like, she's like, you know, the life form whisperer or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for sure, I was pleasantly surprised. I'd probably give it like a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10, something like that, which is high for me.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there, and I'd gone in expecting like maybe like a 5.
Yeah,
And I mean, I even heard people talking after the movie saying the same thing, just like I thought this one was gonna suck. I think part of it had to do with the marketing of it. It was a bunch of silent previews with no talking. It was just them swimming in the water.
yeah, and this one was like much more family oriented, like which kind of like I think reels people into the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
I thought the whale chasing scene was pretty cool when they killed that whale the first time. Like how they did it.
Yeah, and you can see the scientist is like he's like not proud of it, and the other guy's super into it, the Australian dude.
Yeah. But like I thought just the whole way they did it, like how they took down this massive whale kind of thing. I just thought that scene was like I thought it was like a cool scene, not so much that I liked it, but I thought it was cool the way they like broke it down and played it out.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, you know, because kind of long form story is like what James Cameron does, right? So he gets those details in, like, you know, Titanic, however long that movie was, Terminator ones, the later ones start running pretty long. Avatar is like 3 hours. You get these details that otherwise it probably would have been a scene of them just taking this whale down pretty quick.
Yeah.
But you end up like appreciating it.
My biggest knock is probably the dialogue. I felt like the dialogue was just missing a lot. Like when the kid's getting in trouble kind of thing, and he's like, you know, he's like convinced of what he knows and like no one backs him up, or like when the kids are talking to each other, they just come off very bland. I thought the dialogue was really bad though. But I mean, it's like an action, you know, it's kind of like an action scenery movie, but I just thought the dialogue was horrible, man. I thought it was so bad. Just like very like lifeless with like their not a lot of like conviction like in what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that part you're talking about when the leader of the sea people is getting him in trouble, and he's like, no, like I'm telling you, y'all are wrong, and then he just gives up after one time.
Yeah, and like the kids saw him get swallowed by this whale, you know, and like obviously connect with it, the one that they call a killer or whatever, and like no one backs him up, and no one's like, no, this is what I saw. Like I saw him literally do this with the animal, like all peacefully and shit. Like I don't know, like Sully, I thought, like I don't know, the way he like kind of comes down on his kids was just not very like realistic in my opinion, and like the way the brothers interacted just wasn't very organic. It felt like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, because he gets mad at him for talking back to the chief, but I literally leaned over to Angela. I go, he would have done the same thing in Avatar 1. Like, said the exact same thing if the chief or whatever was getting mad at him. He would have said, like, no, like, I know this is right. Y'all are wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, again, I was pleasantly surprised. I definitely think it's better than the first one, which I guess is saying a lot, but I don't know if it'll do. I mean, I guess it'll do as good. It made like 600 million, I think, this opening weekend projected or something.
Dang.
So that's pretty good.
I think word of mouth is gonna get it. Plus, you got a lot of holdovers from Avatar 1 who really liked it, and it's a family movie around Christmas time. All the kids are on break. I think it's gonna do pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Oh, and the other thing. So the other thing I hated was when that kid saves the admiral at the end. He sees him like at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And I don't get it, dude. Like, why'd you do that? Like, he's not even like a real dude. He's like living in another person's body. They're just gonna download him to another thing.
That's
you know?
a good
like,
point.
Like, let him just
That's a good
fucking
point.
die.
I didn't even think about that. If he had died, then if he's not, he's like basically inevitable. They got to take down the whole system.
Yeah, so
I
like,
didn't even think about that aspect of it. Of
Yeah,
they
I-
got his consciousness.
I don't like movies that like have like this infinite loop escape clause. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
almost like Infinity War in a way, or like the Flashpoint
Like
with the
Michael
Flash.
Myers.
Yeah, like
He never
you can
dies.
just always go back in time, or like you can always revive someone or something. I always hate when movies do that because it kills so much suspense and drama.
Yeah,
So
you need
like,
the suspense build up.
you know, like the whole like now I'm assuming, right, that it's not like a one-time thing where like you have to put his mind, and I'm sure they have it backed up and stored somewhere, right? I mean, you would think. So
Yeah.
like you could have 10 of those guys running around if you wanted. That would be pretty cool, actually. We should do
hadn't
that in
even-
the next one.
Yeah, just like instead of him, like, yeah, I'm tired of working with this sorry team. They just make a bunch of him,
Dude,
like a whole team.
yeah. Why the fuck they didn't even use his team? They should have just made like 10 or 20 of him. Been ruthless.
It's so funny. Like, one part I liked is that he has such disdain for his wife. I can't think of Sully's wife's name, because she shot the arrow through him in the first one, and he like sees the arrow. He like keeps getting mad, and she's taking down like half his team, and he's just like, oh god, he just hates her. And he's like, I owe you a death.
Yeah.
That's all he says at the end.
I thought
Sure.
I thought there was some to be missed, like with her and Scully, or whatever his name is. I don't know, like,
Jake Sully.
yeah, I don't know, like the dialogue was just really bad. I don't know, with especially among the Na'vi and the Sea people. It was like very blunt and crude and like
Yeah.
inorganic in a way. Like, I don't know, I just didn't like it.
One thing that it was kind of a tone, they never like addressed it, but you know, in the first one, she's super in love with him, and you know, obviously she gets mad at him and he saves the day, whatever. In this one, it seems like she's kind of annoyed the whole entire time. Like, she doesn't, like, it's almost like she just kind of just putting up, I mean, obviously still loves him and all that, but she just kind of seemed annoyed the whole time. I don't know, it's because they had to move and all this and that, but she just seemed kind of like hard the whole time.
So yeah, one thing I was also thinking is like, he knows that they're after him, right? So
Mhm.
you would think like at some point a good like emotional thing to address would be like him saying, I'm just gonna go turn myself in, so like so that they leave everyone else alone or something like that, you know. Obviously the in conclusion would be like, well, they're gonna attack us anyways, even if you turn yourself in. But like it didn't even ever seem like they addressed, like, he could have been like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself and go in by myself, you know, like, y'all don't deserve to have this happen to you. And like they don't even really like kind of address that plot point, you know. Of course in the end it would have been the same, but there's never even like a talk of like, hey, they're just after me, I'm just gonna go in and turn, and then everyone could have rallied behind him instead and like made
There
that.
is at the very, very, very end, he tells them, he tells the chief guy, like, all right, I'm going to leave. Me and my family will leave, blah, blah, blah. And then the chief says something about, no,
I'm gonna hunt you down until I get you and your family. Yeah.
no, when he's talking to the chief of the water people at the very end, he tells him, like, no, you've done something. I don't know. He makes some kind of connection. He's like, so now, like, we're going to fight together. So obviously, I think in the future ones, they're going to team up with the forest people, probably some third faction, and kind of launch some massive war with these people.
What could the third faction even be? Like some mountain Na'vi.
That's what I was trying to think of. Like, there's forest and water. Yeah, unless they live, like, I don't think you can do, like, air. So it'd have to be mountain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, mountain, or there have to be some, like, open plains somewhere or something like that.
Maybe cave Na'vi.
Yeah. Cave mountain Na'vi. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they're
Like
like
little
they're like
dwarves.
really short and bulky. They're like dwarves, kind of.
Yeah.
The dwarves of Lord of the Rings. They're like all hairy and shit. That'd be pretty funny. They
One
live
thing
in
I don't.
really cold climate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cold snow Na'vi. There you go.
Yeti Na'vi.
One thing I was trying to think of about I don't really want, because you can kind of see it happening. You can also see it not happening, but like I don't want the Colonel guy to turn good, because then every enemy is just turning good. Because originally Jake was an enemy trying to infiltrate, and then this guy, I don't know if that's why they have that spider kid to try to turn him good in the end. Because then it's kind of Star Wars.
What if they run into the Mountain Navi and they're just like ruthlessly evil, and they have to join
It just
up
ends
with the
after number
humans?
3. The Mountain Navi just slaughter everybody, and they take over.
Yeah, that's true, because like at the end there, the Colonel or whatever shows like some emotion when he because that's his kid. You find out at the end. How did she know that though? Was that she just didn't? I think she just didn't give a shit at the end. She was like, "I'm just gonna kill a human because you killed one of mine." You know what I mean? But she
no
like
one ever
knew.
told her, right?
Yeah, she kind of knew somehow.
Oh well, no, I think
Unless I missed that.
Spider. Oh, that's because Spider had always known. Remember, he goes, "Yeah, you don't want to know your dad." And he's like, "It's not the same." They're talking to him, so Spider always knew who his dad was, and then I guess she saw that that was the same dude, because she knew the original guy that she had killed, and she must have saw that he was in that avatar.
Okay.
Because I think at the beginning he says like, you don't always want to know who your dad is, and they're like, that's not your fault, blah blah blah. So he knew who his dad was because he recognized.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
James Cameron don't leave no plot holes.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, did he do Aliens? He did do Aliens, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So he's got Sigourney Weaver from Aliens. Kate Winslet was the mountain, and the sea people Navi leader girl. She's from Titanic, and then Sully is from Terminator.
Yeah. It's a pretty good trio.
Yeah, little threads of James Cameron movies there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, other than that, yeah, that's about all I gotta say. Pleasantly surprised, really the only way I can put it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on a 7, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, 6.5, like a soft 7, a hard 6.5, which is like that's like a good nod for me. Like it's a good movie. It's an alright movie.
6.5, 7 if you saw it in 3D.
Yeah, I just saw it I saw it at home, I guess, but whatever.
Yeah, I liked it for sure. So
yeah,
pleasantly surprised. That should be the name of the episode.
Yeah, that's what I'll
Avatar
name
2
it.
review. Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?